Have you ever watched a new trend sweep through your social circle? Maybe it is the obsession with Stanley Cups, a viral TikTok aesthetic like clean girl or mob wife, or everyone suddenly using the exact same slang and you felt absolutely nothing. While everyone else seems caught in the electric pull of the latest hype, you feel like you are standing behind thick soundproof glass. You do not hate the trend. You are not actively trying to rebel against it. You simply do not care. People might call you stubborn, out of touch, or even arrogant. But what if your lack of interest is not a social deficit, but a profound psychological defense? Society tends to view nonconformity as a loud, aggressive rebellion. We picture the contrarian who argues just to be different, the person who proudly declares that they hate popular things. But there is a quieter, much deeper version of trend resistance. It is not about fighting the crowd. It is about possessing an internal compass that simply does not register the crowd's magnetic field. This is the psychology of the authentic non-participant. Often seen in introverts and highly sensitive people, this is not a performance of being unique. It is a neurobiological strategy for energy conservation, identity preservation, and deep processing. You are not missing out on the fun. Your brain is simply filtering out the noise to protect something much more valuable. To understand this, let us look at how the brain processes social validation. For the vast majority of human history, following the crowd was a literal survival mechanism. Conforming to the tribe meant safety, shared resources, and protection. When people participate in a viral trend today, their brain receives a powerful hit of dopamine, the chemical reward for social belonging, extrinsic validation. The warm approval of the group feels deeply secure. But for the chronic trend avoider, the reward circuitry is wired quite differently. You operate almost entirely on intrinsic validation. Your sense of worth is generated internally. When you encounter a new trend, your brain does not subconsciously ask, "Will this make me belong?" Instead, it asks a much more demanding question. Does this align with my existing values and authentic self? If the answer is no, the trend is instantly discarded. This high demand for authenticity is why you often feel a physical cringe or a wave of exhaustion when you are pressured to participate in something popular just for the sake of it. It feels like wearing someone else's clothing it does not fit, and it feels inherently dishonest. Furthermore, let us talk about a concept known as psychological reactance. Research shows that a subset of the population possesses a strong subconscious reflex against being told what to think or do. The moment a trend is presented by culture as mandatory, your reactance is triggered. It feels like an invasion of your autonomy. You do not just ignore the trend, you actively distance yourself from it to protect your psychological boundaries. This is not you being difficult. It is an immune response protecting your fundamental sense of self. So how do you know if you are a true, authentic non-participant and not just a reactive contrarian? The distinction is vital. The contrarian defines themselves entirely by the crowd. They do the exact opposite of whatever is popular. If the crowd moves left, they move right. Ironically, this means the crowd still controls their behavior just in reverse. The authentic non-participant, however, is guided by indifference, not opposition. If you happen to genuinely like something that suddenly becomes trendy, you keep liking it without shame. If you dislike it, you ignore it. You do not change your behavior to prove a point to anyone else. You also experience what psychologists might call hype fatigue much faster than others. For highly sensitive people in particular, the sheer volume of marketing, social media chatter, and peer pressure surrounding a cultural trend is profoundly overstimulating. Your brain is naturally wired to process information deeply. Because of this depth of processing, you see right through the artificial urgency of fear of missing out. You immediately recognize the invisible marketing machinery, the forced hype, and the fleeting nature of the obsession. Once you see the strings, the puppet show loses all of its magic. Instead of feeling excitement, you feel a deep, heavy exhaustion. Your mental and emotional energy is a finite, precious resource, and your brain simply refuses to spend it on fleeting cultural moments that will be forgotten by next month. This is exactly why you prefer timeless things, hobbies, aesthetics, and conversations that have proven their lasting value over years rather than days. Living this way can sometimes feel incredibly lonely. You might look at the shared excitement of your peers and wonder if you are too rigid, or if you are missing out on the simple, uncomplicated joy of shared cultural moments. But it is essential to reframe your indifference as a profound strength. Your refusal to be swept away by the current means that your roots are incredibly deep. You are a steady, grounded presence in a frantic, constantly shifting world. The solution to this loneliness is not to force yourself to care about things you fundamentally do not. The solution is to stop apologizing for your internal anchor. When friends ask why you are not participating in the latest craze, you do not need to critique the trend, and you do not need to sound intellectually superior. A simple, "It is just not my thing, but I am so glad you are enjoying it," is a complete and powerful sentence. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. In a society that profits immensely from our constant, desperate desire to fit in, being entirely content with what you already like is a quiet, powerful form of freedom. You are not broken for failing to catch the fever. You are simply anchored firmly in yourself. And in a world of constant, dizzying motion, stillness is a rare and beautiful trait. If this perspective resonated with you, you are not alone in your quiet resistance. Subscribe to Inner Cortex for more deep dives into the quiet, hidden mechanics of the mind. Leave a comment below. What is a massive trend that everyone else seemed to love, but you simply could not care less about? We would love to hear your story. See you in the next video.